This episode of Gamerheads is brought to you by Magic Mind, the healthy energy drink that will help you take your creativity to a new level.
Hi, I'm Celia Schilling from Yacht Club Games.
Hey, this is James from Mega Cat Studios.
Hey, this is Matt, aka Stormageddon from Reignite, Screen Snark, and the Fun and Games podcast.
This is Stephanie from the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network.
Hey, this is Mark and Keon from Bonte Avond.
Hey, this is Sebastian with the ProNerdReport.com and the Single Player Experience podcast.
Hi, this is Chris.
Mike.
And Garrett from Daylight Basement Studio.
Hey, this is Baron J67 from Level 1 Gaming.
Hey, this is Todd Mitchell from Code Right Play.
Salutations. This is Mike Carroll from Stroll Art.
Hey, this is Jeff Moonen from Fun and Games Podcast.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Backlog Odyssey.
Hey, this is Rune from Runic Codes.
Hi, this is Andrew from Spalato Bros.
Hi everyone, Jill Grote here from the Indie Informer.
Hey, this is Brimstone, and you're listening to Roger Reichart on the Gamerheads Podcast.
And welcome to another episode of the Gamerheads Podcast. My name is Roger. Along with me this week, I have two special guests that I met at PAX. I have Josh and Kourtney from Static City Games. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm super excited for both of you to be here and talk about your game World of Grimm. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So before we get into the game and start talking about the game, tell us about yourself. What got you into gaming, and more importantly, what got you into making games?
You want to go first?
Sure. Josh actually got me into games and gaming. When I was younger playing games, I wasn't good at it. Even now, I'm still like a button smasher. Kind of fight them, beat them up, so I never really understood that part of games. But then Josh showed me wow, you love movies so much. There are games that look like movies that have, these beautiful storylines. You really should try it. And so I did. And now I'm obsessed with gaming and love gaming. And obviously I still like the theatrical and art aspect the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, so awesome. Josh.
I've been gaming since, I don't even know. I think I erased my mom's Super Mario World save file when I was 3 and it stopped her from playing games forever. That was a good valid memory that still exists.
She will tell that story too.
Yeah. So, she doesn't play games at all anymore. It's not her thing. Her thing is
Did you ruin gaming for her?
I did ruin gaming for her. Yeah. Deleted her save file for Mario World. I think she was from close to the end too. Good times. I've been gaming forever, and I started out console gaming, got into PC gaming around high school, and it just kind of always stayed.
Yeah.
Was always kind of dabbling in the behind the scenes stuff for game development. I played RPG Maker on PS2 in my parents' basement with the USB plug for the keyboard and the mouse.
Yeah.
With the huge 300-page Prima guidebook that was there.
Yeah, exactly.
But never saw myself as a game developer. I always thought it was neat, right? I downloaded RPG Maker and I was like, oh, look how cool this is, right?
Yeah.
Then I went to school for film. And in one of the classes, I needed an extra math class, and it was an intro to. I was like, all right, well, let's take an intro to Java. That's fine. Why not? How hard can Java be? That was the worst mistake of my life. For anyone who knows Java, it's the worst language. No offense to anybody who likes Java, but it's not. I think it was partially the teacher too, but ended up almost failing that because I turned in a blank final. I had 100% in the class, right? And they're the teacher, I walk in, the teacher goes, all right, you have 90 minutes to make a full blackjack game in Java against the sentient AI that actually plays against you. And I gave it 30 seconds and I went, no. I sent her a blank project and got up and walked out.
That's hilarious.
So I was like, I'm never going to be a programmer. It's never going to be a thing. Then I was watching Hearthstone on Twitch, and I was like, I wonder if they make games on Twitch. I'm sure people do.
Yeah.
I typed in game development, went to the first guy still a good buddy of mine, Quasi TV. He's out of New York. And I asked him what he's making his game, and it was Skyhook at the time. And he said it's in Unity, and I said, sold. He's like, it's free to download, and you can make games, and the rest is history, man. I when I step into things, I really full out jump into it. So 9 months later, I was starting working on the first game, and the next game came out. Our first actual release, Nightfall, came out a year later, and here we are, 4 games in, and World of Grimm's out early access.
Wow,
it's crazy that a random question, a random intrusive thought that I acted on made me make games.
Yeah. And you started in 2017, is that correct? Wow, in 4 games. That's really fast. It's like a really fast turnaround.
I like to think so. One of our games was only 3 months long for the development cycle.
What?
It is still our most profitable game to date.
Wow.
Being only 3 months. Wow. It was actually a game. It was a Ludum Dare Game Jam submission that turned into a full game because everyone loved it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us about the game that that's out right now, or it's at least early access, World of Grimm. What's this game about?
World of Grimm is a 5-minute digital collectible card game. It is based on the Brothers Grimm universe, and it is all synchronous turn-based combat, as opposed to asynchronous like most card games. It is completely 100% free to play.
Wow.
Forever and always.
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge you for anything ever because I don't like when games do that.
Yeah, the feeling of, oh, this is locked behind a paywall. You really wanted this card?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
$10, please.
But somebody else can get that card and then just whoop your butt every single time.
Yep. Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a really, really crappy feeling.
It is. Yeah.
So we don't want anyone to feel that way. Games are supposed to be enjoyable and fun, and you're supposed to want to play it over and over and over as much as you can.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one thing that impressed me, like Kourtney, when we talked at PAX, that was my first question. And you're like, this game, the first thing out of your mouth was, this game will always be free to play. It's always going to be free to play. And the other thing that you said too was, I don't want it to be grindy or, pay to win as well. Right. Those are the things that you don't want it to be in the game. But one of the things, and I'm going to jump ahead because we're kind of this seems like a good segue to this question. But how do you, I know because you told me, but I guess we can kind of dive into this a little bit deeper. Yeah. But how do you make a profit on a game then that is free to play, doesn't have any kind of gotcha mechanics? Hey, let me tell you, I'm happy that you don't have that. But, the question is, how do you make money on a game like that then?
Of course. So our game is it has an in-game shop because free-to-play games, especially free-to-play card games, they have a way to monetize their game. And there's a structure that's been set out as the generic, if you have a free-to-play game and you want to monetize it, you should monetize it with these steps to not be predatory and to not feel like it's unfair, right? Games like League of Legends does a great job with this. Hearthstone used to do a great job with this. Right? Marvel Snap, which is another huge influence of us, they have a fantastic job of this, although the game does get a little bit grindy about 100 hours in, which is, still a lot of gameplay. So we're really trying to have this shop that is just cosmetic and purely cosmetic. And that way, if people want to invest into the game, they're more than welcome to, and we will absolutely give them fun and interesting content that they can show off to their friends.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then one of the things that I thought was really interesting was that you'll have artists do the art of the different variants, right? But they also get paid as part of the cut as well. Can you talk a little bit more about that as well?
Yeah. I feel like that one's fairly basic. We find someone who is a great artist. We talk with them about their pricing and what our budget is. But every single art piece is paid for before it's used in the game. The artists have all rights to it. The company uses it. And then afterwards, when someone like you or anyone else playing the game purchases one of their variant art pieces, they also receive a royalty. We wouldn't have games without artists. So I'm not sure why they're not getting paid.
They're severely underpaid in this industry.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
When I love too that on that cards it tells you who the artist is too, right? Like that's a cool twist on it too. Like I don't know if I ever played any other games that says not only features the art but the artist as well that made the card as well. So that's really cool.
I'm actually working on a feature right now that lets you, if you click on a card in your card chest, which is for those of you who have not played our game yet, it is our way to showcase your collection to yourself, to be able to build your different decks and see a different variants that you currently own. We're actually working on a system that is not 100% yet, but when you click on the artist name, when you click on a card to look at the details for it, it'll open like a miniature shop that has all of their pieces, and you can choose to buy their pieces if you like.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that.
Possibly also include some kind of discount if you want to buy their entire collection.
Wow.
Their to-date collection, like whatever's there currently.
Yeah. I like that. So the game is, I mean, you kind of alluded to it. I mean, there is some inspiration, obviously, from Marvel Snap, because you have the 3 realms and you have, your deck and you play cards against your opponent. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other influences around that? And then also tell us a little bit about why you chose the Grimm universe as well.
Sure. So we say that World of Grimm is a combination or a merger of Marvel Snap, Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, and Majora's Mask.
Wait, Majora's Mask? Oh, I get it. I know. I get the reference. Okay,
because of our day and night system that we have. Yes. Yeah. In a way that, like, when you play Majora's Mask, some of your masks are stronger at night, some of them are stronger at day. Like all of the thematics that exist inside Majora's Mask really work in our game, and plus it being Grimm, having different parts of the day really does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You can answer the second half.
Ooh, if I remember what the second half was.
The second half is like, why did you, what inspired you to select the Grimm world, and why focus on that? Yeah. No, that's fine.
I had an answer, and then it was like, whoo. Okay. So Josh likes to tell the story that we were actually watching Futurama and talking.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
But please sponsor us.
talking about this card game and wanting to make one. And okay, well, how can we make it free? How can we, use something that people are going to recognize? Obviously, you can't use Futurama, which is what we're watching.
What was the original idea before?
Yes. Okay. So the original idea, which is a horrible idea.
So bad.
We know it's bad. But we thought, you know what? Okay, let's prove the concept first. Let's make it about.
I don't even think I got that far.
It was. We're gonna gender swap Harry Potter characters.
Oh,
I'm very into Harry Potter, so I was like, all right, Harriet, Portia, we can do this. Like, we've got this. Yeah. It was rough. It was so rough. And
yeah, it was not good. It was not.
No, so then we're sitting down again, and I have a very large World of Grimm. Sorry, not World of Grimm. Grimm.
We should have a pre-written book called World of Grimm.
I mean, it's what we're basing the game off of, so we might as well call it the World of Grimm
book.
Book. It's a
book,
Brothers
the
Grimm.
series.
All of the fairy tales. It is a very large book. The
right
pages are like thin.
Allow me to grab.
Oh gosh, now he's gonna. That's great.
No, this is awesome. This is what I love about you two, because this, like, instantly, you two are so fun to talk with, and just so personable, and like, oh my goodness, that is a really big book.
It's a tiny book.
So
that is a really big book.
Yeah, we're not through it all yet. We're getting.
I have read through this once.
Okay. Is there pictures? Are there lots of pictures in there?
There are like one-offs.
Oh no.
Here, I'm like, hold on.
Oh yeah.
Not really.
There you go. There's one. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
So there are some. That's from the Seven Ravens,
which we have not touched this.
We haven't even gotten to that one yet. It's on the list.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so literally, in all honesty, this book. Now you can sponsor me. This book.
Yeah.
It's public domain. We can't be sponsored by it.
Oh, dang. Well, that leads me into why we used it. It's public domain.
Public domain, yeah.
So one great way to keep your game free to play is to use a fairy tale or an idea that is public domain that anyone can then make variant art for, or any type of art for.
Yeah.
If you were to choose something else or kind of create your own, like, all brand new one, you would have to have
backstory and lore. And,
you would have to have a lot more.
And you can do that. There are games that are beautiful that have created something that no one else has ever seen before.
Yeah.
Right? Soulforge did an amazing job on the backstory of their game. And, like, there's... I mean, Magic the Gathering never existed before Magic the Gathering.
Right.
And their story that exists to the side of all their cards without actually having an actual story-based world is insane.
Yeah.
Like, even when they added Phyrexia in, it is literally crazy how much stuff is in Magic the Gathering.
But also think about the amount of money and personnel that went into
the
making
R&D
that.
And just creating that world.
You know, it's...
Yeah. Well, Wizards has an unstoppable amount of money.
Yes. We don't.
Yeah.
We do not.
Yeah, trying to keep the cost down for indie studio is one of the hardest things to possibly do.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grimm is one of the most expensive games we ever made. So.
No, I understand that. I totally get that. I mean, people always say, you want to have the budget of Gamerheads. I'm like, there's no budget of Gamerheads, so I don't know what you're talking about. So, but I mean, so one of the things that I am really interested in, and it's awesome to see, like, you have this big book, and obviously you have plenty of other cards you want to add and new worlds or new realms you want to add as well. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that process of creating new cards and new realms, and how do you go about making sure that the cards in the realms feel balanced and not overpowered?
Oh, there are so many times where I make a card and I go, this is a great idea. And then I go, oh my God, it's too strong.
They always end up being too strong.
Like, there are some cards that are created that even some of the newer ones that people haven't gotten a chance to play test yet they're strong, man. There are some cards out there that you're going to get that card and you're going to go, that's unfair. Like, like, it's kind of why we made the April Fool's joke for the peace treaty card.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great.
We thought it was way, way funnier than it actually probably
was. I laughed, and I was like, this is April Fool's, though, right? Like, this is an April Fool's joke.
The other card, Afflicted Priest, is a new card, though.
Okay.
Which is actually in the Tier 1 unlockables. So that is that'll be unlocked in your early game of playing. So there's 5 different tiers in cards. There's basic, standard, mythic, rare, and legendary.
Oh, okay.
And it's based on the card border. Like, the art for the border gets more and more complex as the tier goes. Okay. And basically, after you unlock Tier 1 and Tier 2, there's going to be more stuff that is accessible to you. Like, being able to purchase cards in the shop with gold instead of gems.
Okay.
Like, not the variants, but the actual cards. So if you've been playing the game enough and you've been collecting the gold, and you want to increase your Tier 3 collection faster, you can buy one of the cards for in-game gold that you've received from playing the game.
Yeah.
So again, free.
Yeah.
Strictly an in-game.
When you have 200 plus cards in the game, speeding your collection up is never a bad thing.
And you still have to earn it. You still have to earn your gold. So it's not like anyone can go in there and
you can convert gems to gold, but not many people are going to do that.
I wouldn't suggest doing
that.
There are way more fun things to spend gold on. Or gems on.
There are.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about that too is that even when you lose, you're earning gold. So it's like, you're
also progressing.
Yeah, exactly.
You always progress in the game. That is our biggest thing. We never wanted to stop somebody from feeling like there's a really big talk about the art of losing that came out last year or the year before that. And it's this really, really big thing. I think it was a GDC talk. And it talked about how players don't like the feeling of losing as if they've wasted time.
Yeah.
Playing League of Legends and playing a regular game of League of Legends and losing a 45-minute match because your one person got upset near the end and disconnected. That's not a good feeling. Playing against Control Warrior in Hearthstone and taking 35 minutes to play a card game is not a good feeling. And I've been there hundreds of times in both of those games. So our idea of changing it to if you go to forfeit the game and it vanishes instead of losing, it's not really that bad anymore. Yeah. It's a little bit less of a there's a thing called negative dopamine that we're trying to avoid. And it's just a small little nuance. And people that lose games all the time, they just play another game. It doesn't faze them.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a game and you lose and you lose and you lose and it's 5 minutes each time and 8 times in it just keeps saying you lose, you're going to stop playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if all of a sudden you lose by 1 power in one location, and it just says that one would say you lose, but you're like, I'm not going to win it. I'm just going to forfeit on this turn 6. Yeah. And it says vanished instead. And you're like, oh, well, it wasn't bad. Like you still get when you concede or vanish, you do get partial experience for your cards. You still get the in-game gold equal to how much power you've had. You just don't get the extra bonus gold. Like there's all that stuff is still in the game. We don't want the player to ever feel like that they're behind because they get matched with people who are too strong, or they get their butt whooped, or they feel like they're just not good at the game.
Yeah, that's still going to happen sometimes. Sometimes you get your butt whooped.
Whether it's a person or an AI.
Sometimes you do, but to minimize the negative impact on that is huge for anyone's psyche while playing a game.
Yeah. One thing I think I like about the game too is like the matches are not terribly long. No. They're really short, and so even when you are getting your butt kicked, it's like, well, like this game's a short. Yeah, it's not that bad, right?
Or you get your butt kicked, but then you leveled up a card and you unlocked a new card. You're like, well, was it really that bad then?
Yeah, exactly.
Did I really lose?
Right.
No, I don't.
Did I lose? I just unlocked Red Riding Hood. She's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I will say this, like, I may have been playing this game during my lunch hours because it's so fast to play, and I'm like, well, just one more hand, just one more game.
We had a successful Kickstarter back in October, and there are some of our backers that play 1 or 2 matches before they start their work day.
Yeah,
every single morning.
Every day.
We see them log in on our back-end server. They play 1 or 2 matches. They let us know they had fun. It's like almost like a rinse and repeat thing that hey, I just unlocked this.
Yeah.
I unlocked this one. What's a good strategy for this card? Like, our backers we're so thankful to have them, and they're phenomenal for the feedback and how they've helped shape the game. They had a full month to play test it before it went live in early access.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. You mentioned about leveling up cards. Can you talk about how that works and like what does that do for you? Like, does it just add like the legendary cards? Does it do anything for that card besides the status of legendary or rare, or is that what it does? I should ask that question first.
Do you know all this?
Mm-hmm. I know what we're trying to do with it, but it also changes.
Okay.
And has changed recently. So that's why he's asking.
Obviously, as cards level up, your collection level increases. We call it your combined collection level, your CCL, and that does unlock you new cards because that's our literally our progression system. Yeah. It also incentivizes you to swap cards out with new cards because all of your cards start at level 0. That way, you get to try new cards to keep leveling at the speed that feels like you're not grinding the game. We also have small little cosmetic changes that happen. When a card hits level 5, it gets a gold border. When a card hits level 10, it goes to a holographic card. We're working on the shader for the holographic shader right now, but the border does go holographic. We also have a in-game, so you'll be able to spend in-game gold soon. This is going to take a lot of work from our artists and a lot of work from me. Yeah. But you'll be able to spend in-game gold after a certain level to break the card out of its frame. Where effectively all of our cards are created with a foreground in mind, whether it just be the hair from Cinderella or whether it be the sword from the Huntsman from the Oni version of the variant. it sticks out of the frame.
Yeah.
And if you purchase that, your card now sticks out, but it's completely optional, and it is in-game credits, right? We don't want you to be like, oh, that's going to be $2 to break them out. No, we're good. At level 10, a card cannot level past level 10. When a card turns holographic, excuse me, my voice died. When a card turns holographic, you have the option for 1,000 in-game gold to what's going to be called split the card, which will reset. It's like a prestige, basically, but it'll keep the original holographic card and also give you a level 0 of the same card with some kind of effect, whether it be a swirly surrounding it or particle effects, or the card goes monochrome. It could get anything like that.
That's the new, we don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, but that's the goal. I think it's a really cool idea, and that's something I want to implement as soon as possible, but there's some other things that get done.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool cosmetic idea, and the system is there for it. Creating particle systems that look nice is hard.
Yeah, that's awesome. I dabble in Unity, so I understand what you're saying. So
the Unity particle system is by far the best and worst thing about Unity.
Agreed. So what were some of the challenges you faced when creating World of Grimm, and how did you overcome them?
It's a one-word, it's a 5-letter word issue.
What is that?
Money.
Yeah.
Okay, so World of Grimm is a game that requires art to be successful. Some of our original prototypes were hot garbage. Okay, like it was all like stock art from the internet. Like the fox was like some random fox. Rumpelstiltskin was from like a weird Grimm book on the online. Like it was like I should send you one of those builds. It was bad. The issue is that it really might overwrite your save files. Maybe I won't send you that build. But it was not good. It was back in like February of 2023. And it was just like, hey, look, we got 3 realms and you can put cards there.
Yeah. Look at this.
But then we're like, oh, we can't draw. We need to make this better, right? And like at first we had dabbled in like we were part of the Mid-Journey vibe when that came out, and it was like so cool. Like, oh, this is a cool way to prototype. Like, yeah, we don't have the actual like rights to this art, but if we prototype with it, it's not a bad thing. So we literally did a prototype version of every single card art in the game, right? And that was the base art until it got replaced.
For everything we had made so far.
Right, like 100 and something cards. It was a lot of Mid-Journey, like, yeah, it was ridiculous.
Wow.
So since then, obviously, we now have silhouettes that are in the game for the cards the art that's not finished, which I'm sure you've seen. But there's zero AI art in the game now. Now that there's new findings about it and how it steals from other people, and we don't really approve of it at all. But during the Mid-Journey hype, we had a little bit of fun with it, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody probably did.
Not that we ever intended on using it for the game, but I feel like it was a great way to show some of our artists also, like, this is kind of the vibe that we're going with. We want it more in this style, or
we want dark.
It was also a great way to say, like, you see how when you ask a computer to do Cinderella, it starts bringing up Disney Cinderella. I don't want Disney Cinderella. I want the Cinderella from the story. So she should have a different feel to her. She should look a little bit different. Obviously, we're doing everything we can to not be like Disney. So image-wise, I feel like actually using the Mid-Journey was great in showing them what we want, what we need, and what we don't want.
No, I love that. Because even at PAX, like how awesome, like some of the,
look at that card.
Isn't that cool? The Rapunzel card.
We have more.
PAX Rapunzel.
Actually, I'll tell you what. We went through 25. No. So so Kourtney made 2,500 of these cards.
I did.
Oh my gosh.
Because as you feel it, it's not the actual, like, it requires an actual scratch off. And the code is literally a sticker.
Yeah.
So the coat's a sticker, and then the scratch off is a sticker. So she spent like days working.
Are you serious? You built those? I mean, outside of the printing, you put all the stickers on in the scratch off sticker. Oh my goodness!
2 stickers per card.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
There were 2,500 cards,
and we only had this many left.
I have a couple. You gave me a couple too.
Yes,
we did great. We only have 20 left out of 2,500.
Wow!
So we gave a lot out. Most of it was out on Sunday. I was standing in the middle of the walkway,
Sunday,
just kind of giving stuff out.
Sunday was a big push, I think, for us.
Yeah,
I think Sunday was definitely like a lot of these people were either families similar to our family, and so we know that our game works for them and works for parents. So we're like, okay, this is a big parents' day. Let's get all of these parents that are just like us who are going to love the game for very similar reasons.
Right.
And that was really, really great. It was actually watching families with their kids like play together.
Yeah, our Saturday still plays it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I said too. Like, that's one thing I love about this game is that it's, fun for me, but also family friendly as well. Like, and
there's no vulgarity in the game.
Yeah.
The characters, our main artist is Brazilian. So there will be cards that have the Brazilian style, art, and they have like certain anatomy that may be more accentuated because he's Brazilian, which is totally okay.
Our females are gorgeous, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm trying to say it in the nicest way possible.
They are quite pretty.
He's, he's around Carnival and stuff. So, you get what you get, right?
Yeah.
So, but outside of that, he's very, he's a phenomenal artist. Fabricio is like, shout out to him. He's unreal.
Yeah. The art, his art is fantastic.
And he drew that Pax Rapunzel.
He did?
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
He does variant art too.
Wow.
Yeah, if you see any of the retro pieces in the game, those are his art as well. He's a retro, like an 80s comic artist. As a trade.
Wow.
So as soon as I was like, hey, do you want to do some like comic style pieces? He's like, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he had those done like immediately.
Yeah. Really? Yeah, that's awesome to have like a quick turnaround too. Like that's probably part of the other thing that you probably run into, right, with artists is that you want a quick turnaround because you want things to get out as quickly as possible as well.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Some of our artists, like the way that we work with our office is very laid back and relaxed. We're never sitting there going, hey, we got a deadline for 2 weeks. You got to make sure you get 5 pieces done. Otherwise you're out. Like we don't do that.
Yeah.
When we bring them on, they go, hey, I can probably do this piece in 4 or 5 days. I go, sweet. Sounds good. And or I can do this piece in 2 weeks. I'm busy. Yeah, that's fine. No, like we still pay them. We pay artists every Thursday. We've always paid them every Thursday, even if they're working on a piece. So we don't wait for them to be finished.
Nice.
Because I know they're going to deliver. We have a team of 10 artists so far. We have a couple more interviews from people from PAX this week coming up. And everyone that we've worked with has been reliable. They've always finished their work. They're always true to their word, and their pieces are always phenomenal.
Nice.
Some of our variant artists are just literally unreal.
Yeah.
Like the color work and the art, like the line work and everything is just insane.
Yeah. Every art piece in the game is fantastic. I absolutely love. I got my first variant card, which I was very excited about.
What'd you get?
Which one I got the Frog King. I got the because of course I have my deck as the Frog King. I had the pirate one. So
the 7 Seas one.
Yeah, the 7 Seas. Yeah.
I love the 7 Seas one. That's cool.
Yeah.
Really cool idea.
Yeah, I saw that come up and I was like, oh man, I have a deck built around him. I have to get him. So
he has 4 or 5 variants. I think one of my favorite ones for him is by far the sticker. But
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen the sticker? Didn't you get one of the stickers from the Frog King sticker from the booth?
No, I don't think so.
We'll have to mail you one.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're so cute.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
We have he's got a bunch of different ones. Like one of our artists out of Morocco is very, very good with color work.
Okay.
And so he did a Gold Rush style for a few cards, and the Gold Rush Frog King is like the color pops perfectly. Gorgeous. It's really cool. He's got he's like sitting on a pickaxe. It's really awesome. Like,
oh yeah, that one. I saw that one in the store, and it was between that one and the Seven Seas, and I was like,
the Gold Rush color pops so well.
Yeah.
But anything from that guy Sal, anything from him is just his color work is next level.
Nice.
He's actually the guy who did all of our UI in our game. So all the menus, all the buttons, everything that's clickable, the game board, the apple that when you click on it, it like melts and dissolves.
Yeah.
He did all of that. He's literally single-handed in all of the UI art himself.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. You mentioned getting feedback from the players. How has any of the insights from your community impacted the game and shaped development and future development as well?
Hansel was too strong.
Oh.
That was the first thing. Hansel used to double Gretel used to double his attack and Gretel's attack.
Oh.
And it was way too strong. So that was one of the first instances, like very beginning, like pre-alpha build 1. They played the game and they went, dude, Hansel's rough. Like, I can't do that. Like, like Hansel and Gretel in the Cloud Kingdom was like 64 attack. It was disgusting. It was just not fair. And those of you who do not know, Cloud Kingdom is one of our realms in the game, one of our locations, where a card that has an on-play ability, it triggers a second time.
Yeah.
So we ended up nerfing Hansel, or we ended up nerfing Gretel. We didn't have to do anything to Hansel, but I mean, our player feedback it's paramount. The whole reason we're in early access right now is because we need the player feedback. I could play the game a million times and think that Cinderella is perfect, or think that Snow White is not strong enough and then make her stronger for some unknown reason. Snow White's a very strong card.
She is a very strong card.
I love Snow White though. Don't change Snow White.
People playing our game is real. That was just an example, of course. But people playing our game is paramount, especially for a game like this, a multiplayer card game. It needs to have player feedback. We need to get the analytics to see the percentage of players who are including Red Riding Hood in their deck, the percentage of players who are including William Charming in their deck, right? And the people that are including him, how many times are they winning with him in the deck, right? Has he actually on the field, and if you won because of it, right? Like, we need to know that stuff so that we can choose whether we just give him one attack or we full out remake an ability or remake a location. Like when we just changed Grandmother's House.
Yeah.
The Grandmother's House was a location that used to transform a card. The first card you play was transformed to another card, and it was not fun. You play a card because you want to play a card. So playing a card that now changes itself without you getting to choose, like, what if that's the only place you're going to play the card at? It makes sense. It's unfun.
Yeah.
Right. If you're playing Frog King and you want Frog King to be Frog King, it's not fair that it gets changed to the Giant, even if the Giant's 14 attack.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we changed the Grandmother's House to now turn 6. All of your cards cost 3. So now you can play 2 cards that turn, including 2 big dudes.
Yeah.
But you would know that ahead of time so you can prepare accordingly, because it would unveil what? Turn 2, turn 3, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I first of all, I guess I never even thought of this, thinking about the analytics that you're getting behind the scenes and seeing how decks are being built by people. Like, that's amazing to me. Cause like, that's just
actually really cool.
That's really cool. That is really, really cool.
There's a lot of it's not finished. There's this in a game like this, we could be building analytics forever.
Yeah.
Even to the point where how many players have unlocked Crab so far? How many players have unlocked, how many players have used the Shoemaker in a deck with Wise Servant? Why are they using it at the same time? What's the reason behind that? Right? Like there's how many people have bought the Seven Seas Frog King, but they're not buying the Gold Rush Frog King, right? Like little things like that, we can easily do tons of that. How many people click the shop button, but they don't, and they click the go to buy gems, and then they hit cancel last second? We can do all of that. There's so many analytics that you can actually add in that is not invasive, that doesn't take anything from somebody that feels like private property.
Yeah.
because obviously with GDPR and all the stuff that exists around that, you don't want to be too invasive on people.
Yeah.
And if you are, you have to be able to let people opt out of it, which we have a button to opt out for. Yeah, that's all I got. That was long-winded. But
no, that's awesome. I have a follow-up question with that. Then, was there any decks that or any cards that people have been building decks around? And you're like, I never thought that people would have used a card this way, or really, you built a deck around that card?
Frog King.
Frog King. Well, people see that and they go, "That's a great synergy," but then people also see that and go, "Somebody else plays that too," and all of a sudden they're getting a great buff from their cards. But there are so many good 1-mana cards in this game.
Yeah, there are.
And as you play the game and you experience that, and you get the tier 3 and tier 4 cards that are 1 mana that literally are based on what you've seen in tier 1 and tier 2, they're insane.
Yeah.
Right? There's a card, the Village Baker. The Village Baker is a 1 mana 1/1.
Good one.
That every time he's in your hand at the start of a new turn, he gets an extra attack. So he could be a 1/7 on turn 6. Plus the Frog King. Now he's a 1/8. So it's an extra 9 attack burst with only 3 mana.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things you can do. There's a card, the Witch Mother, which these cards you may have seen through Wishing Well or from another person's deck.
Yeah.
The Witch Mother is a 0 attack card, but returns back to your hand every turn, which is 1 mana, and she doubles her attack every time she gets back to your hand. So if you have ways to start her snowball, she could be 16, 32, 64 attack by the time it's turn 6.
Yeah.
And she's always back in your hand unless she gets killed.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I love that. And that's one thing I loved. I mean, that's one thing I love about this game too. It's like, I don't have every card, but I love when I see a new card that an opponent plays and I click on it, I'm like, oh, what's that card?
Right.
It's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. There's so much stuff in this game. And when you realize like you start with 14 cards and there's 188 cards in the game. It's
so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's, when you look at it like that, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason that we do not give you your entire collection at first.
Yeah.
The first play tests, people were able to go in and they were able to look at all the cards and they would never build decks. They wouldn't know what to do. You know, how does a Fury deck work? Why would I do a time shift deck? You know, do I need to do a move deck? Is moving cards that great? What's the reason behind that?
Yeah.
You know? How good is Ferdinand the Faithful? Why would I use him?
Yeah.
Like, who even is that? Is he a real character? Like, so like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this game that as you slowly introduce it to players, it feels better.
Yeah. That's one thing I do like about the game too, is the fact that I didn't feel overwhelmed. And when I get a new card, I'm like, ooh, what would be like if I built a deck around, like I have Goose Girl. Like I try to build a deck around her.
We're going to be buffing Goose Girl. This is just off the record. Obviously, it can be included in the podcast, little tease, but we're gonna give her an extra attack for a card on the deck. Okay. A lot of times, she only ends up getting 3 or 4 attack, which is not fair for a 5 mana card.
Yeah.
So giving her 8 attack for the card that only has 1 health that can get killed off is, I think, a very, very fair buff to her. Yeah. Especially when you get further into the game and you can start adding cards back into your deck and stuff. Yeah. Then obviously, it changes things a little bit. But
yeah.
More strategy.
And the game is based on, I mean, we're trying our best to provide depth and strategy to the game, but also keep it simple.
Yeah.
We don't want to increase complexity. Magic the Gathering does complexity.
Yes.
Right. All of a sudden there's a new set and it's got 4 new keywords and there's now 20,010 rules, right? Instead of 19,000 rules. They added 1,000 new rules in this, right?
I can't be doing that. Right. No one's got time for that.
Or like Hearthstone, when they release a new set now, and if you don't spend $50 on the new set, you're behind.
Yeah.
Way behind.
And you literally can't catch up.
Yeah.
So like we don't want that. Like a lot of people talk about like, well, how are you going to keep adding content? We just are. We are just going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure it out. And it's going to be a thing where we set it up where it unlocks on a certain day and it just does its thing.
Nice. How many cards do you have right now? 180 some, did you say?
Including Peach Treaty, there's 189. Hey, Peach Treaty's data is in the game still. It's just not unlockable anymore. I'm going to change Peace Treaty to a 1 mana or 2 mana spell that doesn't let players play cards next turn. Which I think is not fair.
April Fools, now it's a real card.
I think it's not actually a fair card. I think maybe it should only let you play 1 card next turn. Or the first card has to be played at that location next turn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something has to seem fair. Maybe you should just make it player forfeit.
April Fools.
What if it makes you stop? What if it makes you forfeit instead? What if
makes you forfeit?
Right, one man makes you forfeit. You don't gain experience.
You don't get experience, and you have to play it.
And the player, it auto plays, and the opponent gets double experience.
Oh, love that for the opponent.
Yeah, that sounds a lot of fun. I can't wait to get that card.
Yeah, right? Such a great unlock. So maybe we can make that one worth $50 too.
Oh my gosh!
I'm done.
What are some of the future? What are some of the updates though you want to do, like outside of the Peace Treaty card? Obviously,
Peace Treaty's gonna be solid, man.
Oh, stop!
June 1st, it's coming. Okay, so we're looking into quest systems already: daily quest, weekly quest, season quests as well.
Cool.
Where you get not just in-game gold, you can get gems as well. So you can start accruing your own gems to be able to buy you can buy variants without having to spend $1. Right? The goal is to let people be able to enjoy all the great things about the game. If they don't want to spend money, that's cool. If they want to support the developers, that's awesome too. That helps us get more art for the game.
Yeah. Right.
Literally the money in the game that from the people that are buying the variants now, it just flips right back to other artists. So, that does help a lot. We're looking at a new game mode called Draft, which is similar to if you took Hearthstone Arena and Magic Sealed together. It's a deck of 20 cards where you can have duplicates. And you'll pick from a set of 3 cards, and they'll be semi-fair. It'll be like 3 tier 2 2-mana cards, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Or just spells. Pick from one of these 3 spells, and it'll be first to 7 wins or 3 losses. Based on your wins, you'll get in-game content. If you win 7, you'll get a mystery variant of a card.
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
And then effectively, you're only in it for 15 minutes, maybe as high as 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Really, that's not a huge time commitment for something that you're drafting the process of creating your own deck and playing this different super enhanced deck with 4 Snow Whites.
Yeah.
Right.
But that would be a process active decision. If you want to play
that
mode, 15 a 30-minute game, you're playing a sub game.
That mode is going to cost gems to get into it, just because it's fair that the high risk, high reward kind of thing, but it's not a high risk. It's like $1.50 is what we're looking at for the actual cost of playing that.
Yeah,
but people will end up just playing that mode and that mode only because how many times can they go 7 wins in a row?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How many times can they? How many? How do they think this deck's going to do? People on Twitch are going to be like taking bets. The in-game channel bets or whatever, channel points.
Yeah.
This deck's only going to win 3 wins, right? Stuff like that. We are introducing season passes as well. Although our season pass will only ever be cosmetic. There will not be a season pass card. There will be season pass variant art that you will unlock. You'll get 1 for purchasing season pass, and then you'll get. As you unlock more content in Season Pass, you'll get avatars, you'll get experience for cards to level up your collection more. You'll get in-game credit. You'll get the money back that you spent in gems. You'll get that back as you unlock more levels.
Cool.
And we're looking to make it just fun themes and cool art where everything kind of fits together. Our first one that we're looking at, we tested a couple different names on people at PAX.
Yeah.
And Trouble in Tokyo felt like the one that got the most good vibes. So we're talking like the 1800s, 1800 samurai kind of style vibes. Like the samurai version of Prince Charming and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I think something like that would be a really cool first set. And then we obviously are looking to maybe do that monthly. People that have purchased our Founders tier in Kickstarter, which is our $70 tier, will get the season pass forever without having to pay anything.
Nice.
So that pass will be available for anybody to buy, but at a $5 increased price, which is not that big of a difference.
Yeah.
So if they feel like they're going to be playing the game for a while and they want to buy the Founders Pass, they can. It does support the developers, it does support everyone on the team, and it supports more art, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm talking about, where our non-pay to win cosmetics are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want people to be able to experience that. We want people to be able to buy different banner art where your name is on the top.
Yeah.
For in-game gold.
Yeah.
Like I think that's cool. Like you can have a UI artist draw a mech version of that of that banner for 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
We've actually even talked about being able to change out the music when you're
right. Yeah. Have different music
to have
you could effectively
variant music. Choose something else. And it does.
Cool. Yeah.
Totally a thing. Also, did you pick an avatar yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't picked an avatar yet.
Click your little person.
Yeah.
It might be Frog King. If you click your little person next to your profile name in the main menu, every card that you've unlocked, including variants, has an avatar available for you.
Okay.
I need to go in and tweak some of the values. Some of them are way too zoomed in.
We're talking like right here.
Yeah, just one eyeball. I was like, oh, this is great. And I did it like really fast because I was trying to do like 300 of them.
Yeah.
It took me an entire day. And I was like, I'm wasting my entire day on these avatars. And people aren't even going to click on this thing. So
that's cool. I did notice that my back of one of my decks now has Rapunzel as the PAX East. Yeah, that was really cool.
And because there's so many people that have redeemed that already, I believe about 40% of the people who gave cards to have already redeemed the Rapunzel. Those people have those backs. So if you're playing the game and you play against somebody who has that same back as you, there's only 4 backs in the game right now. So you have a chance to be one of the few that actually has the PAX East, card back.
That's very cool.
As the season pass gets created and stuff, like there'll be a Shinto version of the card back. There'll be this, there'll be that. We want the game to feel like you can buy what suits you and what you like, so you can show it off and show your friends how cool you are that you bought a Dr. Know-All that plays golf. or the track star version of the wolf, right?
Yeah.
The sports one is growing on me.
Yeah, I think Pied Piper playing baseball is one of the coolest ones.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It does look really cool,
and it's all
Fat Trina.
Oh, okay. So there is one character,
a football player.
One of our favorite characters in the game is Fat Trina. Fat Trina she's great. One sentence in one of the stories where it's just, at least you're not like your sister, Fat Trina. You're like, she's in the game. Here we go. So what does she do? She consumes the other cards at that location, and she gets stronger because of it. It makes sense. I don't know if it does in the story. We don't know what she actually does. It doesn't tell us enough.
That's it.
So
that's awesome.
So we don't have her actual main art done yet, but there's a chibi version done of her already.
Oh, cool.
Where she's sitting there like eating a foot. It's
grim. It's supposed to.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very dark. Yeah.
And then there's one of our awesome artists, Luan Maximino. Shout out to him. He's another artist out of Brazil. He has a whole bunch of cards. You see Maximino variants everywhere. The sports, the cyberpunk, the steampunk stuff. He did all of that. He's done over 40, 50 cards now at this point. And he did a Fat Trina for sports, which he made her a linebacker with like pizza stains.
That's cool.
Like grease all over her face and pimples, and he did great. He knocked it out of the park.
That's awesome.
So we really enjoy playing with the ridiculousness that we can get into, because if our artists come up to us and go, hey, can I draw Red Riding or can I draw Sleeping Beauty as an undead character? We go, yeah, man, go for it. And we have that in the game. We have two undead characters. We have Sleeping Beauty and we have True Bride. Okay. And True Bride is the weird amalgamation of Corpse Bride before she dies.
Yeah.
So we did an undead version of her, which would be Corpse Bride, but we're not calling it that because we already have Corpse Bride.
That's cool. It's amazing to me how many different variants, but also just the creativity behind this game is just like the thing that I think I was most impressed is just all the characters and like the thought process around like what those characters do and then the realms and how they interact with each other and how they interact with other cards. Yeah. That's why
sheer
luck. Yeah, no. And I can
a lot of the synergies when I'm making cards, I'm not sitting there going, all right, this card is great. What can we pair Frog King with? I'm just like, Frog King was the first card I made. So it wasn't like, oh yeah,
maybe that's why you like it so much.
Yeah, I wasn't like, I'm not sitting there going, Maid of Brackle is going to be the best card for a Frog King deck. I'm sitting there going, Maid of Brackle is going to be so cool.
Afterwards is when you see
like,
how it's going to interact,
right?
Yeah.
And that's when you play test it.
So like we have a combo in the game which is completely unintentional. They're made at way different times. I forgot that I made one card when I made a different one.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, it's just how that works. There's just too many cards.
Yeah.
There's a card called Bluebeard. Bluebeard is a very interesting story that was not included in the book that we have. It's on the Grimm Stories website as an unincluded story. It was never translated to English, so you had to like hit right click and translate selection to English for the entire story. And it's so that card has a channel ability, which is an ability that's always on unless the card dies or the ability gets nullified. And its ability is when a card gets discarded from your hand, it plays at a random realm. So then we also have a 5-mana spell called Invoke Destruction. And Invoke Destruction discards your entire hand.
Oh, interesting.
And it adds a character called Sargas, the Firebringer, to your hand, which is a 6-mana dude. So it sets you up for a big 6-mana card.
Oh my gosh.
Having Bluebeard on the field and him surviving because he has 1 health. So having Bluebeard on the field and then playing Invoke Destruction dumps your entire hand.
Yeah.
And just put it all on the field for free.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So is that going to be something that might be an auto include for people? In a discard deck, it might be.
Yeah.
But there are some times that people make discard decks and they don't include cards like that. They like the cards that they can guarantee the lowest card gets discarded. The highest card gets discarded.
Yeah.
You know, this card that gets discarded gets duplicated. They can guarantee that stuff and people appreciate that more.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to create a lot of different archetypes.
Yeah. That's why this game won one of the Gamerheads Best of PAX East because nice.
It sits on my computer.
Nice.
I was going to hang it up somewhere, but it's so tiny I would have to squint to see it.
I know. Again, Gamerhead's budget is not very high. So
to be fair, it's an eyesight issue for me and not the actual item. The actual item is great. It's an eyesight problem. So we actually have
doesn't matter what I hang on.
We actually have the up there on the top. There's our PAX East booth.
Oh,
yeah, we put it up.
That's cool. That's cool.
Well, this
is the office.
This is the office.
This is the office. Yeah, this is my office.
It's a room that became an office.
Yeah, used to have a lot of kids' toys in it. Not anymore.
They got old enough.
They did. The toys go upstairs now. It's an office.
Nice. One last thing I will say, because I know this for the fact, like voice acting, one of your kids is the cat, right? Isn't it right?
Yeah.
Our 7-year-old.
Yeah, she's a talking cat. And then our 5-year-old is Little Red Cap.
Okay.
But only the forest variant.
Oh, okay.
So what we're looking to do is you don't want the cyberpunk shoemaker to have the same voice as the original shoemaker. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't make sense to have the retro style of a card sound the exact same as the regular style of a card.
Yeah.
You got to put some kind of filter behind that word, right? So we're looking at actually having a different voiceover for every single variant.
Wow.
And then, of course, we can also do premium cards that have premium voiceovers and premium special effects. And we can do all that stuff if we want to.
Yeah.
It might be something on the horizon. Who knows? When we have a team of 60 that are working on the game.
That's just us.
Yeah. The issue we have is there's too much stuff we want to do and not enough time to do it.
Yeah.
Not enough time, not enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah, not enough money is the number one thing.
Yeah.
So if you do like the game, please leave a review on Steam. It is 100% free to leave a review. You only have to open the game for 4 seconds and then close the game, and you can leave a review for it.
But play the game.
But please play the game.
Because it's a good game.
Please play the game. 100% play the game, but you can leave a review by just most games that you unlock a code for, you can't leave a review that counts. Free to play games, you can leave reviews if you've played the game for, I believe, 5 seconds total.
Well.
So no, you're actually it's a true thing. You actually can. Yeah, you cannot leave a review for a game you have not played. It has to have been opened once on your computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll include in the show notes a link to your Steam page, so that way people can go on.
WorldofGrimm.com.
Yeah. I'll link that
simple.
too. Yeah.
WorldofGrimm.com. Clicking on it. If you're on your phone, it opens it on Steam on your app.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Yep.
I'll certainly do that. And I just have to say I love this game a lot. And if you're a fan of Marvel Snap but get frustrated with the grindiness of it, like this game is like right up your alley, because this game is not grindy and it's really fun. So. And
if you like fairy tales,
fairy tales, yeah.
Even if you like Snow White and Rapunzel and you don't know the dark side of stuff and you want to know the dark side of stuff, we're there for it, man. We're here.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for joining us. Besides the link, can you tell people how they can find you on social media and follow you there as well?
It is everything at Static City Games. Yes. 100%. Just like our LinkedIn, our Facebook, our Twitter. Like everything is Static City Games. You can actually even go to our link tree, which is linktr.ee/Static City Games. That has a link to everything. That's just how that works. Yeah. So we are extremely simple to find. We're the only company that has this wording for a game or for a studio.
Yeah.
Whether it be games or not. I don't think of anything else that's called Static City. I can't put my finger on it.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for again joining me today. When I would love to have you back on the show when like you have new updates, when you have the season come out and everything, the season pass. Love to have you back on. So
for sure. Yeah. Thanks. We really had a great time.
Awesome.
Had a great time.
Listeners, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to give us a listen. Go check out World of Grimm. It is fantastic. I love this game so much, so go check it out. With that, everybody stay safe and game on. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.